Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to fight in the octagon.
And they're liberating towns day and day. And they're getting closer to the Russian border.
Russia's top leaders, top generals.
But
right? The
also,
close circle for Putin, like Putin as like a god.
Yeah.
Is going... Shut up! What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Famous Chili Podcast, back for episode 21. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out all our platforms on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and make sure to subscribe and keep checking out our content, all right? This week, we're getting into some deep topics. And when I say deep, I mean submarine deep. OceanGate submarine, apparently imploded towards the bottom of the ocean. Like, what do you guys think of that? Like, that's crazy, right? Like, who would put so much trust in a company to take them in a pretty much like a rinky-dink submarine to like the bottom of the ocean to see the Titanic?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say before we start, I was just a really sad thing that happened. Like,
it's so sad.
The memes that were coming out, it was so fun. Like, also that was one people were trolling it while it was happening, which I thought was kind of messed up. But also one thing that's at least not good that it happened, but at least they didn't die. Like, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, the oxygen tanks, right? So they're suffocating. But when we found out it imploded, at least it made me feel a little bit better that they died a painless death instead of suffocating through the oxygen.
But it doesn't make it any better because of how high pressure, how much high pressure there's in that environment. But they don't feel any pain. But the submarine feels the stress of the pressure in that environment. It can't last that long down there. Yeah. And even if the oxygen supposedly would last them 5 days, they probably wouldn't make it to them because it's so cold down at the bottom of the ocean.
If they had heating in the sub, which maybe they did, but otherwise, they could just die of hypothermia.
They could die of hypothermia.
Here's the thing. Everyone's completely just shitting on this OceanGate, whatever, people call it, whatever. But I think the thing is you got to look at it from a science perspective, and in the idea that OceanGate was not everyone goes for it. It was people who want to put the money in, who want to make that investment, who want to go down there. And yes, it was a very cheaped out submarine with not a lot of safety features, but it was an accident nonetheless. I'm sure there were many things they could have done better, but none of them expected it going into it, and there was no there wasn't anything that could have given them warning that one time, because OceanGate had already made trips with the exact same submarine previously. People act they went into it completely new, it was a new submarine that was just built, but OceanGate had already taken trips with that submarine into the bottom of the ocean, and it survived. There was nothing that they could have prepared for in that sense. And yes, it was terrible design quality in terms of engineering standards. But I think people shit on it way more than it should be.
No, I think they shit on it a perfectly good amount, right? If you're taking
when so many people die, I think it's more than justified to shit on the company that did this.
If you're building a deep diving machine, you have to take all this. How could you leave out any safety precautions when you're taking human life down there? Let's take I read this online. One of the people who died on there, the guy who was a diver before. Let me read his name out. Make sure I get it right. Paul Henry Nargeolet, right? In 2018, there was a clip of him explaining what would happen in that submarine if they were to get stuck at the bottom of the ocean. He was explaining how, in 4 to 5 days, they would run out of oxygen. And like I said before, they could die of hypothermia. And he also said, the risks of, the submarine being exposed to the high-pressure environment, as I said before. So he talked about what happens if you get sunk to the bottom, right? So if there's already, people saying, if there's a possibility of getting sunk down to the bottom, why not take extra precautions or why not have a beacon so they can broadcast or signal or anything, there's so many things they could have done differently before sending people
in that video. Was he specifically referring to OceanGates? Are you certain?
Not particularly.
Okay, because then in that case there's hundreds of videos on YouTube about just what happens at the depths of the ocean.
No, but it's very likely he was talking about OceanGate submarine.
Was it the same person you said?
Yeah, it's a guy who died on OceanGate submarine.
How many years ago did
2018?
I don't even know if OceanGate was running trips that long ago, but regardless, the idea is
when you have so many rich people also, this was literally for billionaires going on this thing.
No, I agree.
If you have that much funding behind you, there's no excuse to not take the necessary precautions for it. Obviously, it's an accident, things happen, so there is only so much you can do, but this should not have happened, realistically.
No, I agree.
Was there no tests or anything? Did they not send models of the submarine down before without people in there to test? If it's not able to withstand that much pressure and going that deep, it should never have been sent with people in the first place.
Here's the thing. It wasn't like that. It wasn't just completely it wasn't completely novel. They'd already. It's not like they didn't do a single test. I'm sure they'd done the proper calculations. I'm sure they'd done proper testing to some extent, but not to the extent to which, they knew that it was like foolproof. And there were engineering mistakes they made. Like, a lot of people talk about like, carbon fiber titanium thing. There's a clip of him talking about that. Yeah, those are things that you probably should not have done, because when you're at those depths and you have cold temperatures, the compression of both those materials is different. Titanium will compress more than carbon fiber, and you have that issue, structural issues. Again, I completely agree that there are issues, but to some extent, like, it wasn't just completely novel, like, technology. This is stuff that they'd already used before.
Yeah.
There is, of course, that one case where it did happen and it went horribly wrong, and that shouldn't have happened. And I do think that they made mistakes in engineering it, but I think the way people talk about it is like they were just like, oh, let's throw people in the ocean in a metal tube.
No,
yeah,
the employees, right? Like the way OceanGate, the CEO, I feel like got a lot of the was under fire for a lot of it, was because he was talking about how, oh, I don't want to hire any, like, he literally quoted saying, I don't want to hire 50-year-old white scientists. Meaning that he wanted to hire 20-year-olds or really fresh minds, which in theory makes sense. But at the same time, for an engineer, for someone for this caliber of a project, you want experience. You want industrial experience who know what they're doing.
Exactly.
You can't hire someone out of college. And yeah, we're college people who want jobs and things. But like at the end of the day, for a big project like this, someone out of college is not qualified for that. You need someone with experience. And I think that's what a major issue was and why they took so much fire.
Yeah. No, but like he said before, right? He said that it was the one mistake they made in all these years, but it maybe was just not more than that. It was it's basically like as if it was bound to happen. Like this submarine, like all this event did was just highlight what went wrong with their submarine and what defaults they've had and they've used for years and years, or however long they've been sending people down to the ocean. It's just now this time whatever bad actually happened. And maybe it didn't happen the last few times, but it happened this time. Who's to say it can't happen again if they continue with the same submarine, which they won't, obviously, because
I mean, I don't
well,
think
whenever something like this happens, you're right, it's very easy to just blame like the company. It's always so easy to just blame the company, and like realistically there's only so much they can do. Obviously, like they didn't plan this to happen. They didn't do this on purpose. Like what else could they really have done? If they say they've done all the testing, then these freak accidents just happen sometimes. Like the Titanic itself wasn't meant to go down. It's not like that was like some groundbreaking technology.
It's not like the submarine hit an iceberg or something. That's a freak accident. Submarine had, like you said, structural issues.
The issue with the Titanic wasn't just that it hit an iceberg. That wasn't the only issue. The issue also was, one, the captain led the team, or led their crew into the iceberg, knowing that the crew had already told them that there were dangers ahead.
Exactly.
And on top of that, Titanic had its own engineering issues. They didn't plan enough life vests. They didn't plan enough safety boats. Yeah. All of these are you can consider the exact, like, there's like jokes online where it's like the Titanic took people down. Like Titanic has longevity. Titanic's got longevity.
The long game.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can always say that. Yeah, I completely agree. It was a terrible engineering issue, and it never should have happened. They had a rollback of issues, like engineering issues, hiring issues, whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm sure none of us are experienced enough to be able to say, like, these are the papers that they wrote, or these are, like, this is what they used to create the submarine. This is the technologies they used. This is, like, the science behind it. None of us are experienced enough to look at that and say, was this conclusive enough for them to put people into it? And most of the people on TikTok, most of the people throwing stuff on Twitter also don't know. And so I think at the end of the day, yes, we give it a lot of hate, and it should deserve hate because it was a bad issue. Like, there are things that we know should not have happened. But to the extent of how much importance was put on those things, we don't know ourselves.
Right.
I think that's, like, the thing. Like, everyone's shitting on it, and yes, it should get shit on, but to some extent, it's like,
there's obviously some things you can't control, but like they say it was controlled by like an Xbox controller or a PS4
yeah,
controller.
But okay, that's the thing.
Like, are you serious?
No. But was it actually like an Xbox or PS4 controller? Or are they just saying like
it was a Logitech controller?
It was a Logitech controller.
Okay, what is that to say? A lot of other companies outsource their software and hardware from other companies.
Yeah.
Logitech controller doesn't need. Just because it was a Logitech controller doesn't mean it was badly engineered. Logitech's controllers are good controllers.
All I'm saying is that for a sophisticated dive like that, it requires more sophisticated technology than just controlling it through like a controller.
How do you know it wasn't sophisticated?
Like this controller is not what failed. Like that's what
The
people.
controller is not what failed.
Exactly.
But all I'm saying is there was a lack of like
being a lack of technology.
Obviously there was a lack of sophisticated technology. Why were they not able to find it for so long?
Right.
You know, you're setting it down into the
long.
ocean. Why can't you find your own submarine?
Yeah, that I agree was an issue.
Well,
where
there's sonars.
They didn't have.
No, before
No.
No,
That is, it imploded way sooner than everyone thought. When everyone was
exactly.
saying like it has this many hours until we
Now
confirm.
it already imploded.
It imploded way before that.
But the news just came out late, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
know that
knew.
it imploded.
Yeah,
They found the
they
implosion
realized
after.
that it imploded
Okay.
like
They-
way after,
they had-
way
But
before.
still, as soon as they realized it was lost, it should not take days to
Well,
find
no, that's
out.
the thing. They had signals going to the surface. They lost signal, and that's when they were like, "Oh shit, something happened." And then people went on a search for it. When we lost signal is when it probably imploded.
Yeah.
But then the issue was we didn't know if they lost signal because it imploded. We didn't know if they lost signal because
It was lost.
they
or
lost
hit
communications.
something,
They were
or-
like,
One thing Ari was
no.
saying was like that's true. It's like it happened a lot sooner than people thought because I was watching this video of how the implosion actually happens. One, it happens in 1 nanosecond, right?
Yeah, it's
I think it takes like, I could be wrong, but it takes like a millisecond or 2 milliseconds for a normal human to process pain.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Number two, after like because you have such high pressure that low in the ocean, one crack can infiltrate such pressure into the submarine that everything implodes. So even just the littlest crack, which again is due to structural issues along with other things, will lead to that implosion, right? Which is why everything happens so quickly, and the remains are all gel, which then like anybody in the ocean could like any type of animal could digest it. Which is why there was almost no remains, and it was so hard to find it after it had happened.
There was a lot of unknown variables as to what happened because no
Yeah.
one's gonna really know unless the people unless the 5 people were alive, you know.
Yeah.
But they won't be because it imploded.
Now,
So
in how many
we
years are we
don't
gonna have someone like go down a new submarine to try to find this? Like,
No,
it's
probably not.
Like,
No.
I don't think that's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
You know,
now
there's
they're not
actually
gonna do
there's a lot of phony like conspiracy theories going on as to, like what happened
Yeah.
because when stuff like when billionaires and like important people die, you know, like
Yeah.
everyone thinks it's like a cover up. So someone put a conspiracy theory on like Reddit to like these 5 rich people, they all must have done something bad in their lifetime,
Yeah.
and then they try to like they hide themselves or like fake their own deaths as cover up. There was like another one saying that they took a Titanic artifact and they're gonna sell it on the black market and to start a new life doing that. Like there's some crazy conspiracy theories as to like what they were
There
doing.
was
never know,
there's
you never
a
know.
video of pre-dive preparation because there was a YouTuber. I used to actually watch this YouTuber.
Yeah,
He
I know what
dives.
you're talking about.
I forget the name off the top of my head.
I
used to
saw him
watch
on
all
TikTok,
the time.
actually,
Yeah,
too.
but he normally dives in like rivers and lakes for like just at the bottom of the lake and finds like.
And he
stuff.
documented himself.
He documented
before
the
yeah.
preparation and the submarine going in and whatnot, and then he didn't release the episode until after the submarine we found out that it had imploded. But it's like in those cases, it's like yeah, whatever. There really a case to say that they're lying and just running away because like you see like what's going on in preparation,
Yeah,
or is that
exactly.
proof that they paid him off? Who knows?
It's
You sent us something actually where someone on Twitter actually predicted this whole thing, and he said,
The Simpsons.
someone on Twitter. Simpsons predicts everything, man. Simpsons predicts everything.
actually wild.
So someone on Twitter literally predicted this. They said, I have an idea for a Titanic sequel where a luxury submarine full of millionaires crashes while touring the wreck of the Titanic. They all drown and get eaten by crabs. The movie is 26 minutes long, very rewatchable. That was posted in September 4th, 2022.
Yeah.
Christ.
And then he proceeds to comment like a few days ago, yeah, cool to be viral, not because people hate me. And then he plugs his store.
Yeah. So
Yeah, bro. The funniest thing was when Nishk sent this to us. Whenever I see like just a screenshot of Twitter, I'm skeptical of the dates because people like fake that stuff all the time. So then I searched for the actual tweet and I saw it. When I typed in the exact text, you know how many people just posted the exact same tweet after because they knew that everyone searching for this tweet will just see theirs.
Yeah.
Like it was legit just copy and pasted like this exact
in
tweet. man.
2022.
It was so stupid, man. But it's crazy that someone just like. It's so weird how people just predict stuff, man. And, like not
Just
intentionally,
random.
like, and obviously, like, I'm sure he doesn't feel good about predicting this, but like things like The Simpsons just predicting random shit. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Again, I think OceanGate, terrible incident, terrible like that it happened, and it was an issue in their engineering. But I think a lot of people are hating on it a little too much. I agree it should get some hate because they did make mistakes, but I don't know.
Did
That's
you guys see the Mr. Beast thing with this?
He got invited.
Okay,
to the-
yeah. So he posted on
Yeah.
Twitter a text message, right, where he was saying that he was invited to actually ride on that submarine, but he turned it down.
There was a lot of people that had that.
Right.
People on CNN got interviewed for that too.
That's crazy. And so like he posted this, and it's a screenshot of the text message saying, also, I'm going to the Titanic in a submarine late this month. The team will be stoked to have you along. But take a look at this screenshot. What's weird about this text message about the invite to him?
I have no idea.
I'm sure you're also welcome to join. What?
Okay, the text is blue.
Which means he sent
Which
it.
Okay, so bro, for the full day after he posted this, people were going crazy, just saying, bro just sent this to himself, trying to make it seem like he was invited. But he clarified his friend sent him the screenshot later, so then people were like, oh yeah, people don't believe him, and they're trying to say that like, oh, he's just trying to get attention. Yeah. People are actually like so stupid.
I feel like Mr. Beast is one of the most pure guys.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I'm not even that big of a Mr. Beast fan. I just get annoyed though when people like
just hate
like people are like hating on him for helping blind people,
right?
And I'm like Mr. Beast thinks he's playing God. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's doing so much.
I know.
So much for people.
I mean,
in need.
Turning now to something that happened a couple of days ago. I was literally like sick in my bed. I was about to go to sleep when I get a tweet with the ringer like that saying, yo, Russia's going down.
There's so much stuff happening this week. It's actually wild.
This week was
this
crazy. Like, Putin's fucked. Like, I don't even know. How do you say this guy's name, Rishi?
Okay, his name is Yevgeny Prigozhin. He's the leader. He's the leader of the Wagner group.
So the Wagner.
It's actually Wagner. I'm pretty sure.
Wagner. So this group was actually hired by Putin, right, to fight in the Ukrainian war, and then they ended up going against him because he wouldn't give them.
And they staged the coup. Exactly.
And they staged the coup essentially.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this, which I still interested to get your guys' take on, was the fact that like he suddenly stopped and had all these arrangements with Putin, right? And mind you, they used to be like really good friends. So like, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Putin had his family? Do you think what kind of was like the theory behind that?
What happened was that he tried to stop it with violence and try to use his military to stop it, and he couldn't because they were gonna take over. Moscow, right? Because what had they done before? They
took over the entire southwestern
not only that,
part of Russia.
They mutinized and they captured Rostovo-Don, if I'm saying that correct. Yeah, and that's like an important it's a Russian military hub, right? So like now, like not only is he fighting on the Ukrainian front, and now he has to worry about people climbing up on his own country, Russia, right?
No, but he was on the record saying that he would pull out of the Ukrainian war.
I don't buy that. I'm gonna be honest here.
On the record with Putin? Are you
yeah. I gotta take Putin's word for it then, man. Like Putin's word doesn't mean shit. What are you talking about?
Putin's word means nothing. If that only means that he's just gonna be like more insightful.
I said Prigozhin, that guy.
Oh,
he was saying that he was gonna pull out of the Ukrainian war.
Why would he pull out of the Ukrainian war?
He doesn't.
He's the one.
He doesn't think. No. He's doing it because Putin's hired him to do it. He's like if I'm prime minister, he was gonna pull out. He's not fighting. He's not like he doesn't want to do it.
They're a mercenary group. They're hired by Putin to fight in the Ukrainian war. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. Look what happened now. They're hired to fight in the Ukrainian war. Then they tried a coup attempt, which then he stopped, right? And then he also stopped the attack on Moscow. But now what does this mean for the war? So now those same soldiers who were once fighting with each other, then fought against each other and were killing each other, are now being forced to fight with each other again against the Ukraine.
No, like, what is why do you think that? Why do you think the coup got stopped?
Dude, you can't.
Bro, you can't. Okay, I'm sorry.
Security forces? Are you kidding?
It's a coup. It's a coup launched by
entire southwestern.
It is a small mercenary group attacking the largest army in the world. You're not putting down Putin's army in the world.
Second largest, or okay, whatever.
By volume,
America on top, bro. America on top. Come on.
In terms of development, but I'm telling you, Russia's army in terms of volume is historically.
Doesn't mean shit when
Honestly, though,
I'm speaking in terms of volume, and throughout history, Russia's only been successful in wars because of their pure volume and size.
They just have so many troops.
They don't have. That's literally their only thing that they've done that's helped them militarily.
Regardless, the thing is, you have trained security forces and you have trained mercenaries, but your security forces are stationed in Moscow. Right. They're literally headquartered in Moscow. Is literally at this point is like it's a war center. Like it's just pumping out troops and it's pumping
That's
out
probably
stuff.
true.
But here's
Exactly.
the problem.
Because they're
Like,
mobilized.
the thing is, he had intelligence beforehand that this coup attempt was gonna happen. He wasn't able to stop it with force, and he had to go. He had to go like the regular like peace route, where he had to make peace with them. But here's the thing: Putin himself is getting compromised. You've seen him have control for 23 years, and you thought he'd be the absolute leader for a while. But now you see his leadership being like scrutinized, because now he was, first of all, the person who is considered a traitor to Russia, so to say, like the leader of this Wagner group is considered a traitor, obviously, to them. He was not even imprisoned. He wasn't sent. I think he was just sent away. That's it. He allowed the mercenary group to keep their weapons after the fact that they tried a coup attempt. He's losing his power slowly.
So the reason of that is because this is with every really major dictator. When they lose a war, that leads to the own people of their own country thinking that they're weak, and relatively that's right. Also, another thing is, during the war, while it was getting weaker and weaker for Russian side, because let's be honest, Ukraine is kicking their ass in the war right now. And
Wait, what did you say?
No.
Did you say Ukraine is kicking?
They're barely standing.
They're barely
up.
surviving, bro.
what?
Ukraine
Yes.
is on like the brink of extinction, dude.
As in, they're doing such a good job by just staying in the fight.
Yeah.
But like the one bad thing, and they're tipped right over.
It's
They're
wild
gone.
that it's. I agree.
Bro, you do realize that they're now trying to get territory into Russia.
And you realize that's entirely because of us, not anything from them.
Okay, but what I mean by the Ukraine war is this side, like the other side is kicking their ass.
I still would not say.
I wouldn't say any.
guys are
I would not
kicking
say anyone is kicking their ass. Kicking their ass at it right now.
Low key, but he's not wrong, because
not wrong at all, because
he's
the
put
US
Putin in
is
such a
I'm not-
hard position.
He is.
He's such a hard
that's
position
not
to
even
be.
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying the U.S. has, okay, they haven't put a single troop down, right? All they've done is supply weapons. Yeah, okay, at a blank check, but they're still supplying weapons. People end up fighting are still the Ukrainian people. Strategy, with some advisors of the U.S., still the Ukrainian people fighting.
Here's
right?
the thing.
They could have easily left. Zelensky could have easily left the country, right? They're not only in the war, they're winning the war. They're taking back parts to towns that they weren't able to before.
Okay, you could say that, but there's been like remember when it first happened in our senior year? I think it was in February or March of our senior year, and we first saw it happen. And then like 2-3 weeks later, we heard about like some crazy like battle win on Ukraine's side just because they were able to like.
They were able to just hold them off.
Yeah.
That's
and
it.
The reason that
That's all
I would
they
say
have to do.
even that they have like the reason I even say like, oh yeah, Ukraine is doing well is because they're fending off one of the largest armies, one of the strongest.
The media-
Doing
no.
well is different than outperforming your expectations. There's a difference. Their expectation was they were going to get taken in 5 to 10 days or something like that. But
So
they're
that means
actually
they're doing well in the
because-
war.
Yeah, they're liberating towns day and day, and they're getting closer to the Russian border.
But those
Liberty
are
hasn't got taken like
those are
few months
small
back.
not
wins.
holding
Think
on.
about it in the
That's
long
winning
run.
the war.
No,
Think
that's
about it in the
not
long
winning.
run.
How is that not winning
Dude,
the war?
Putin can let him take the small territories as long as he's keeping his main stuff safe. You know, they
What,
can do.
Russia?
War is
The
not
Also,
like,
main
you realize
hubs.
Putin can win this war tomorrow if he
Nuclear
wants
missiles?
to.
Yeah,
Nuclear
like-
missiles?
If he
That's
wanted
not
to,
happening, bro.
listen,
That's the
here,
problem.
bro,
That's when
that
NATO gets
if that's
involved,
what it
bro.
gets
That happens,
to,
then everyone's coming.
exactly.
Then
But
it's
you
then-
never
then
know.
that's
I'm
bad,
telling you,
bro.
know
you
what
do not
happens.
know if
Dude,
they
With
can
Putin,
happen.
that's true. You
There is
don't
a
know.
world-
Listen, we're not talking about reasonable people here
Yeah,
that
we're not.
we can
Yeah,
expect
yeah,
they're not going
I
to do
truly
that.
believe that there's a
He can end this anytime he wants to.
No, dude, Putin can't take any action like that because not only he's on the brink of almost civil war in his own nation.
Yeah.
100%.
When's the last time someone has staged a coup attempt on Russia?
No,
Last
and
time-
that's why it's
that's
great.
Hitler.
It's
It was
great.
Hitler.
Yeah.
The last time we did it was Hitler, and he was unsuccessful. There's been like small Russian groups have tried, but they've been unsuccessful. But like you look at it now, like the security of other nations is in question. Okay, Putin's leadership is also in question, and now civil war is in question because like who's the Chechen leader in Russia? What's his name? Whatever. He's like he's part of one of the bigger groups, and now they are gonna try and seize control, and so are other groups in Russia as well.
This
People
whole
say that, but no, you got
no,
it.
go.
I was saying like people, you can say that there's coups and there's tension in Russia now, but you can say there's always been tension in Russia. Like this is just the one action.
This is a different.
Oh, let him.
I think that like
Yeah.
you see one instance of a coup. How quickly was that? Yes, he knew beforehand that this coup was gonna happen, and he didn't do enough about it. But you can also say that he just didn't think about how large it was gonna be. The moment he realized what was happening, think about how fast it got shut down.
That's what I'm
dude.
saying.
Russia is Putin's power in Russia. No matter how much resilience you get, Ukraine, an entire nation backed by U.S. support, is barely able to fend off Russia in their own homes. Russian people in Russia will not be able to hold a civil war against Putin. Putin just has too much power and too much control over the nation to be able to do that. He feeds half the nation with his money through like paying these people.
I'll let Ari go because I know he was like waiting to say
so
after I disagree with that. So
no, because I completely agree with you, Nish. But like it's these coups and like small rebellions. You see how quickly they're put down. Yes, it's good. It's a sign that power is somewhat shifting, and people in Russia in general are not exactly happy about what's going on. They're also losing family. They're also dying on the front lines for some war that they don't even care about. Most Russians do not want this to happen, but they're being thrown into it. But now it's just that they're finally actually putting a stand to it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you cannot tell me that you see Russia crumbling down from civil war and Putin being overthrown by the end of this. You cannot tell me that you think that's going to happen.
Maybe not overthrown, but it's definitely going to damage the country. Because think about now, it not only will damage their country, it's going to damage the surrounding nations. Because then if a civil war occurs, you're going to have refugees flooding into Europe, right? And then when that happens, then NATO is going to have to get involved. And then Putin, who's obviously crazy, has a large nuclear arsenal. So if this elevates any more, it not only will affect Russia, but it affects all countries on a world stage as well.
So this is what I wanted to say, right? There's two parts to this. One, there's a civil war within Russia, right? In all aspects, not only the actual military part, but societally as well. Then there's the part with Russia and Ukraine. So first I'll go with the Russian society part, right? After this kind of coup got quilled, I agree that Putin's not going to get overthrown. But this is dude, there was a moment where like the Soviet Union was super powerful. Within 2 or 3 days, when Gorbachev and all of them was sick, he was sick, had to go into house arrest. All of a sudden, the USSR was gone. Right? I'm not saying that's happening to Putin. I'm just telling you a list of events that have happened. Right? There was a time when Putin would sit alone in his room and have food delivered to him. Right? And have conference calls with his generals who were like literally 10 feet away from him because he didn't want his drinks to get poisoned. He was that paranoid. Even during this coup, he was so panicked. He was so like, maybe it was an act, I don't know, but from face value, he was very panicked. He and his close friends fled to this really like vacation home he had in Russia, right? He didn't know what he was doing. And yes, I understand the military blockaded Moscow and they were able to fend it off. But this is a bigger issue, right? Because this puts what Rishi said it's a good point what Rishi said, which was he's in a tough position because he doesn't have a lot of time because the economic sanctions that NATO has put has led to, is it the ruble? It's the ruble, right? The ruble.
The ruble's destroyed.
Destroyed right now. Yeah. Absolutely destroyed.
Ruble, man.
The people are starving. There's so many people who are not doing that like well economically, but that's a Canada move.
That is a Canada move, bro.
It had to happen, man.
But that's economically is going really bad for his people, right? What is that going to do? That's going to lead to more unrest, less support for Putin, right? Number 2, number 3, he's losing the war against
less
Ukraine.
support.
Putin doesn't give a fuck about his support.
Yo,
you think anybody's ever said like, "Oh, we love Putin so
That's
much"?
not what I
Russian
said,
people
man.
themselves don't love
He
him.
does not care about support
I'll
for him.
explain why I think that point becomes invalidated. Here's the thing: Putin, support does not matter for Putin. I doubt.
100%.
I doubt that any citizens in Russia truly, like the majority of citizens in any place in Russia, truly have full devotion to Putin.
But he's an elected president, man.
He's elected.
He's an elected president.
If he dies, I will say, if Putin somehow passes away, it creates a power void. And I think in that case, yes, there's a chance of a civil unrest, civil war possibly happening from Putin supporters and non-Putin supporters.
The same thing will happen again. Someone just
will,
like him.
No, I agree.
Russia's been in this loop forever.
But something will happen which will cause a civil war-like occurrence, right? Right now, Putin is alive. Nothing is going to happen. Another thing to say is that, yes, Putin is scared and Putin is worried. Like we said earlier, he controls the entirety of Russia. Secondly, you could say that, dude, this coup, you can argue was less severe than like January 5th riots. You had armed people marching into the Capitol. This was not the southwest corner. This is the southwest corner of the Capitol.
I don't know about
Here's the difference. Yes, dude. Okay,
it was more of an attack on like democracy versus than
but
like a leader himself.
Well, I guess
this attack was directly on Putin.
Exactly. In this sense, like I get what he kind of means.
Who's the leader of democracy in the free world? The president of the United States.
I see what he means. I wouldn't really compare them. They are very different. But
no, I agree.
Realistically, this coup in Russia, what did it accomplish? Realistically, it's just a morale thing to show other people. It's good for media highlights that, oh, Russia's moving down, Russia's crumbling, when realistically they put it down in 2 minutes, and then after that, what happened? All this resulted in just more deaths on both sides.
No, listen, you guys are looking at it from, oh, the public's gonna uproar. That's not
I don't. No. It's not about the public
So what are
uproar.
you
Ours is the complete opposite.
We're saying the public is not gonna uproar.
No, but I'm saying why? Because they're powerless, right?
Because they won't do it.
They won't.
They're not
dude.
going to.
Why?
The Russian
Can't, dude.
They're
Unless-
terrified of Russia. Also, do you know how
they're
big
terrified
the
because they have nothing to fight against them. If they're a 1 million unarmed people against a 10
And how are you gonna
How are you
arm
gonna arm every?
Are we
single
gonna
1
keep
million?
sending over
That's
more
what I'm
checks to
saying.
start
My
arming
point
Russians
is,
now?
It's not about the people. That's
That's a good
not
idea, man.
That's not. That's not.
what I'm
I'm saying
saying,
it's
like-
not about the people, bro. It's
Then who's it about?
It's about the generals, bro. Dude, how does every coup happen? How does in Egypt?
Okay.
In all these places, it's military leaders, right, who are the ones who end up becoming president because they're the one who do the coup. Why do they do that? Because they see civil unrest, right? They see the entire public being dissatisfied. So what do? They already have the military in charge, right? And they're gonna have support of society. So all they have to do is overthrow the main guy. Which when they already have military support, they're gonna do that. Which is why when Putin. He's scared because of his generals and his circle overthrowing him. Not of
No.
his
You're right about that. That is how coups are launched, but it's very different because Putin's more involved in the military than other typical
Exactly.
leaders
Yeah.
are.
Dude,
Most generals.
Putin acts essentially as the top general. He is so
yes,
involved in the military.
exactly.
He served his whole life in the KGB.
That's true.
He's so involved in this stuff that yes, someone can try to launch something, but at the end of the day, people are scared, and with the size of Russia, the amount of people you would need, who first of all, like you said, are unarmed to actually stage something against the Russian military
You're not staging it with the common person. You're
Putin-
staging it with the military.
Still,
The
Putin is-
military-
Good luck
is-
convincing all of them without Putin knowing.
Dude, there's almost half of the Russian military, like not even I don't know the exact, but there's a bunch of them, like a really good number of them, who've like deserted their posts in Ukraine, who've died, who don't know the direction they're taking.
Yeah, but the moment one general stands up to Putin points a gun at his daughter and shoots her. Like, there's nothing.
he has so much influence and so much
It's-
control.
you don't
it's
realize
impossible.
how
influential Putin is.
Fear does a lot to people, man. I'm telling
No, I
you,
know that,
people
yeah.
will. It's very easy to just say because we read in history books that like these things happen. Think about how few times that realistically happened in history. It's just when you put them all together, it sounds like, oh, this stuff happens a lot. It doesn't. This stuff's not. It's not that like.
I
a frequent
genuinely
occurrence.
think I agree. If Putin dies, then there is a power void.
No, that's
and then
yeah.
no matter what, there's gonna be a power grab between different generals, different military leaders, and you're gonna have something happen there.
Yeah.
But we're not in that case.
Yeah.
Of
And
course not, yeah.
unless you are able to get your shot off on Putin and Putin dies, nothing's gonna happen. And you know Putin's not
I mean,
gonna put
that's
himself in
also-
that
And you're also
position.
forgetting like Putin's biggest backer, China, sitting there. Anything
That's
happen?
true, too.
Like Iran said that they're not helping
they're not helping.
Yeah,
Putin with the
yeah.
coup. That's fine. That's fine. They don't need Iran if they have China backing them.
Yeah.
Russia's military, their core military, whoever stays with Putin, back with China. Say all the other generals revolt and people follow them. China's military plus whatever Russia still has is more than enough to destroy them.
another
Realistically,
thing-
all
Listen,
this
you have to
results in
understand.
is just more deaths, and then Russia's going to continue going for Ukraine.
And not only that, think about it. The last time Russia's own military staged a coup, KGB headliners in 1990, it was in the 90s, right? It happened in the 90s. They staged a coup and they failed. And that's when Russia's relations with China were not as strong as they are now, as they are with Putin. Now you think about when that happens, how strong Russia is compared to now versus the 90s. There is no chance of Putin getting overthrown.
You'll have
in
one-off coups all
any-
the time. Yeah,
yes.
like yes, it shows that, like Ari said, it shows, there's people who are willing to go
Exactly.
against him.
But it's a minuscule
those
amount.
people is
Yeah.
one guy who then got shut down in 2 seconds,
Exactly.
and now the rest of Russia's like,
And
oh,
if,
yeah, now we
if,
can't
if
do
you're trying to
anything.
argue that all of his generals turn on him, you know what, fine, benefit of the doubt, let's assume all of his generals turn on him. You know the amount of time and organization it'll take to coordinate such a large force between all of the generals, all the armies, to launch something against Putin. You think he won't find out in that time and just shut it down?
There's
My
generals.
thing is when you're in a inner circle of people, right, who answer to one person, all 5 or 6 of them go up to Putin, right? You think Putin's only influence is as big as his circle, as big as his loyalists, right? That's with anybody in human nature. But what I'm saying is, if the main 5 or 6 people who have the military in hand, okay, fine, Putin's the top leader, but if the sub commanders all work together, they could overthrow Putin. Which
that's
is what
the
he's
problem.
scared of.
Prigozhin was not a top leader.
I'm not saying Prigozhin.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not
but,
talking about.
Okay.
I'm just saying the his
yeah.
actual like.
Yeah,
But
but Prigozhin was not a
and
top
all of
leader.
them.
He was
Yeah.
able to change his mentality. He was able to launch that coup. Russia's top leaders, top generals,
But
right?
they're
The
also-
close circle for
they're
Putin
probably very
is
loyal to
not.
him.
Yeah,
they're
those
also-
are the
that's
people.
main thing,
Those are the
yeah.
people who believe in
Exactly.
like
That's the
Putin
main
as like a
thing.
god. dude.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
They're
That's
not.
the main
They
thing.
probably
That's the
agree with
biggest issue.
every decision he makes. They're probably
Right.
the ones behind the decision he makes.
Dude,
Like
he's a
there's
true commander in chief. Like the United States president does not have the control that Putin just. Russia's a military state. The United States might have the largest military in the world, not by volume, but they might have the largest military in the world. We are not, in any sense, as strong as Russia is when it comes to just pure military power from a governmental standpoint.
100%. Like how much control?
Yeah, our military is definitely stronger than Russia. But
Yeah.
but
I know what initially.
Government,
Yeah, I know what you mean,
governmentally,
yeah.
like
How
Putin
much-
owns the
Right,
Putin
yeah.
owns the army, he owns the government, he
Yeah.
owns the generals, he owns every single facet, and those close people, those five, are never gonna sweat.
That's the biggest thing, right? They're not going to revolt because they're so loyal because he's put them in those positions.
Yeah.
Which,
Right.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And also you're forgetting that we are in America. We're only going to see things that we know
yeah,
about. You know,
yeah,
we don't
very
see
true.
the average Russian what they're thinking. You know, we
100%,
don't know what
yeah.
all those generals are thinking. We just see this person launch something
And
against.
a lot of people
Ukraine.
might be like brainwashed into thinking a
Yeah.
certain way.
Yeah.
People in these countries, like these kind of countries, they you don't understand how they think. Nobody can.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like in North Korea.
Yeah, North-
Oh
North
my God,
Korea,
that's
people
crazy.
literally believe Kim Jong
He's a
Un
god.
did
He's a god,
everything.
yeah.
It says
Yeah.
that his dad invented the cheeseburger. Like
Yeah.
that is like written in law. Like that is
Yeah.
how it's meant to be remembered.
That's
Like
literally-
these people don't have like a normal
Yeah.
like outlook that we have on these kind of things.
You know what's wild? One of the ideas that has been thought of to like overthrow North Korea has literally been dropped pamphlets with pictures, information written in Korean about the rest of the world, so the public understands what's going on. It's like that same idea you can apply to Russia, where it's like
100%.
you don't know how brainwashed they are. Like North Korea, we know, right?
I feel like, but North Korea is a little bit more of an isolated.
It is. I
state.
know.
It
I
is,
completely
it is.
agree.
Have you seen
completely
the picture from like space? Seeing how that's one of the only borders you can see.
agree. Oh yeah, like you see just a line
Just
straight up
because the
lined up.
lights are just gone. They're
yeah.
so
Yeah,
technologically
yeah,
behind
Yeah.
that you see South Korea, North Korea. It's like
DMZ is just
Yeah.
like
Do you guys see that one? You guys see that one North Korean person who left and has been speaking?
Yeah,
around?
yeah.
She
Oh,
said
yeah.
that like they eat what they kill. They're like
Yeah.
summer is the best time because that's when you eat the crops.
Yep.
But winter is when the most people die because you eat grasshoppers and grasshoppers don't come out when it's cold outside.
No.
exactly yeah.
It's crazy how that
But
happens.
that's like the idea. It's like we
It's
obviously
the
Russia's
communist state of mind.
Russia
Yeah,
is a
it's
lot more
simply what it
connected
is.
to the world. So
Yeah.
Russia, I'm sure Russian people have a better understanding. But who knows, especially in a lot of like these smaller, less connected towns,
Yeah.
what their perception of the government is and what their perception of the rest of the world is. Like they might truly believe in Russia's power, and and in the other case, they might fully be against Russia, but they just can't do anything about it because again, fully like military state.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
Because a communist state builds a communist state of mind in their people as well, so they believe what their president says. You know,
Yeah.
if he says you know everyone fly to America and bomb every tower, and there's a high chance that you know people who believe in Putin will do what he says.
yeah,
You know,
exactly what you said.
it's literally like
Yeah,
it's just they're so like
communist state of mind.
yeah
Like
they're-
empire state of mind.
the empire state of mind, a communist state of mind, but they're literally so influenced by Putin. It's just so hard to stage anything against him.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly,
impossible
it's just
to.
like a scary fact. Like a lot of people don't know. Like, I mean, okay, to us to some extent don't know the true realities because our medias are also censored to some extent. But like they
Censored
Very-
and
yeah.
falsified, by the way.
Falsified.
I wouldn't even say some extent anymore.
Yeah, like
man.
it's we're reaching different
I
levels.
mean, it's
dude.
to some extent if you're comparing it to like Russia, where
Okay,
like, they're
yeah.
like
Then, yeah,
completely
sure.
like right, but like that's just scary to think about because their brains are just wired differently because
Yeah.
of the information they get compared.
You know
to
what else is
us,
pretty scary though?
What?
A 6'2", 109. How many? I feel like you would know that. stat.
Wow, that was
How many
awful.
pounds?
Oh wow,
Wow.
Such a
You-
bad transition.
No, because
really-
you're interested in that. You're interested in fighting space.
You really
You were
did
the
not
most-
think this one through, did you?
You were the most interested in the martial arts.
All right, guys. So going to the Musk versus Zuckerberg.
there we go. All right,
Pull
guys.
the
Yeah.
stats. Pull the
All right,
stats.
all
Sorry.
right, all right. So, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are going to fight in the octagon. It looks like that's going to happen. All right. So this past weekend. Or was it this weekend? Yeah, it was this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I could not believe this, man. First of all, I love Twitter. So even though
Yeah.
no matter how shitty it becomes, no matter how annoying the people are on it, it's still my favorite social media to use. It's just so funny seeing people just argue about
I
shit.
mean, we love TikTok as well.
Yeah.
But-
yeah. Oh yeah. All right, but yeah, so Elon was, or I think Zuck started it actually. He was just talking, like chirping at Musk a bit, and then Musk said, "Send me your location" or something like that, and he'll go and get it. And then they offered an actual fight.
Yep.
And then Mark Zuckerberg didn't know if he was being serious or not, so he contacted Dana White. Dana White, of course, has to be involved in everything like this. So Dana White gets contacted.
Even though it's boxing.
And he's like, no, it's not boxing.
No.
It's not boxing?
It's in the octagon.
It's an
Oh,
octagon.
shit, sorry.
No, why would Dana White be doing it if it's not?
Yeah, I know, that's why.
You think Zuckerberg can box against Elon Musk?
Yeah.
No way.
Okay,
Dude,
okay. But we'll get into that, right? But
no.
Zuckerberg contacted Dana White, and Dana White just casually, hits up Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, is like, hey, are you serious about wanting to fight Mark Zuckerberg? And he says yes. Mm-hmm. So they are now organizing a $100 pay-per-view for charity fight in the octagon, MMA, between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. Place your bets now. How quickly is Elon Musk getting shipped out of there in a box?
I agree in the octagon. In the octagon, it's
I agree. Because
Zuck raps.
honestly, I didn't know, but then I saw his history. I saw like how much of a champion Zuck is in the jiu-jitsu space, and I'm like, it's raps. It's literally. Also, not to mention, he's 12 years younger than Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Elon Musk looks like a pale white ball, like a golf ball.
Yeah, Musk is a little fat.
He's a little fat.
He's a little
I never thought I would see the day when I look at Mark Zuckerberg and think, you know what? It's an athlete right there. He's the favorite in a fight.
Let me throw out the stats real
He
quick.
goes outside. like that's. I never thought I'd be in this.
I'm going to throw out the stats for each. Starting with Zuck. We got age of 39, 5'7" height, and his weight comes in around 155.
Oh, you skip his
I mean, his nationality is American. Sure. I don't know. Why does that matter? How does that matter? Why does that matter?
home court advantage. Home court.
Man, bro's also like
Home court.
Anyways. Musk as an age of 51. So they do have a big gap in that. Height of 6'1", another large gap, and a weight of, it's actually not fully reported, but it's between 185 and 200. So another big gap in that.
How's he not reported this as true weight? Like, why do you give a
And
rate?
most importantly, the net worth.
Oh yeah, most importantly, net worth. We got Zuckerberg with 100.9 billion. We got Musk on the other hand, over doubling that at 245.
Oh, bro, Zuck's done. That's chump change. Change.
Musk is gonna drop his cash on him.
Chump change.
Here's the thing, dude. We've talked about this earlier this year, and we've definitely had conversations about this before we even started the podcast. But influencer boxing is no longer just influencer boxing.
No, it's not, man.
It's freaking billionaire boxing, dude. Like how does this happen? How did this happen?
It's straight up just bored billionaires who have nothing better to do right now.
But
And that's exactly the same thing with the submarine. Like that's like go into space. Just my econ teacher literally said that. He says like billionaires are just bored now. What are they trying to do? They're done with Earth. Let's just go to space. And now let's just go to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. Real quick side
now let's
note.
just fight each other.
Exactly.
Like
They might as well. They have
Blue Origin or I don't know if it's
Blue Origin's Amazon's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I don't know Blue Origin or I think it might have been someone else. But they basically just said they're gonna have flights.
Virgin Atlantic.
Virgin Atlantic. Sorry. Virgin Atlantic said they're gonna have flights going to space
and come back.
You could buy.
And
So it's
Oh my
tourist
God.
flights to space.
Yeah.
Which again, if it's done properly, I'm all for. Like
I'm not going on
innovation.
that first flight,
I mean, obviously not, but
Yo, I'm not going on the first 300 flights.
Yeah.
You guys, I need 300 at least. minimum.
300 is
300.
nowhere near, man.
I mean, it's not like in
Yeah.
the next 300 flights, I'm not even gonna have the cash to be able to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Minimum
But-
30. Get the normal distribution, man. Get the proper sample size.
yeah, I guess so.
N equals 30.
N equals
Yeah,
30.
N equals 30,
yeah.
man.
Shout out, bro.
Yeah, but like that's another wild thing. Like this submarine thing just happened, and now they're going to space. But honestly, I think it's good. I think innovation should still continue.
I think this billionaire, first of all, has a nice ring to it. But number two, I think this is more like, first of all, it would be really good for like charity because like it'll be so much money raised. But two, what do billionaires like that cannot be bought and they like more than anything? Their ego. And boxing is the best way to settle that. I think people with the likes of like Zuck, Musk, Bezos. Bezos is pretty rich.
Bezos is a good shit. Bezos is a good
I think
shit.
Bezos was solo.
I think some of these hedge fund managers like Bill Ackman and some of these other ones.
Hey, what about Bill Gates, man?
Bill Gates versus Warren Buffett. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh god damn, yo, that would be crazy.
As much
Holy
as I
shit.
love Bill
One of them would
Gates,
die.
I think
no,
Warren would
yeah.
take it.
Yeah,
I think Warren would take it.
Warren probably just sit on it.
Nah, bro, Warren Buffett has spent his whole life eating McDonald's every day.
That's why, man. He's got the weight on him.
Wait, okay.
Bill Gates has
Let's be
leaned down a
honest.
lot. Let's be
Are you
honest.
guys? Are you guys
After the
actually-
divorce, he might have been like a little upset.
Are you guys
over it.
actually excited to watch this?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
bro.
for the fun
In
of it. It's gonna
reality-
end quick.
Yes.
It's
Reality,
funny.
I think it's kind of. I think it's kind of like a stupid stunt. I don't think it's like. I don't think it's
Well,
as
of
cool.
course.
As people think it's gonna be, to be honest.
Rishi. Let me talk to you, right? Is it just because it's $100 pay per view because you don't have to pay that?
We'll split it. We'll split it.
we don't. What? Split what?
No, yeah, we'll split it.
Look, man, money's a little tight right now. I got people to feed.
Yeah,
I got bills to pay.
yeah.
I got things to do.
Oh, so what about the charities that this money would go to? Is that just
Nah, you
They just don't
care
matter?
You
about
don't
that?
care about
they
that?
don't matter?
We caught him lacking on pod right now.
I know,
It's
but
actually $100 pay per view.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one I'd.
You know, for people who don't know how to use like internet.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
No, but here's the thing. I think this would be a bigger. Like, people are ranking this among, like, the Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie,
Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao.
I don't think
biggest
that's
box
that
office
big. It's
fight.
not gonna be that interesting. It's just gonna be two guys just
It's just
flailing
it's,
around.
no,
in the
but
ring.
see,
Money,
you know what?
dude.
Everybody says this. People said this with the start of influencer boxing, man. Like at the end of the day, look at the numbers it does. You can't. The numbers don't lie. People want to see people they know fight because it's entertainment at the end of the day. Yes, we're not gonna watch this fight expecting to see a skillful showdown. We know who's more skilled in this, and we're watching this for the
a lot of that
entertainment
hype,
factor.
no, a lot of that hype kind of died down when the Tyson, I think, was it Holyfield?
What are you talking about?
Like when they were old and they were fighting.
That's not what we're talking about.
It is kind of influencer boxing. That's a little bit of influencer.
No, it is
No.
not. They are literally fighters. That is.
Tyson is literally
You're
a
not.
fighter.
Don't you dare call Holyfield an influencer
They're
boxer.
60 years old.
They're still
That's
boxers.
still boxer. No, that's you can't.
Bro,
influencer fighting is or influencer boxing is non-boxers.
I get
People
that.
are not.
I get that, but
initially
they
athletes.
would no. They
It's
wouldn't
just-
have done
it's
that
just
if that
no.
influencer era didn't happen. They wouldn't.
That
have
was
done
literally so much. First of all, Holyfield Tyson. When you're talking,
Or
what?
Tyson and someone else, bro. Someone fought Tyson.
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, so then it was him.
Yeah, no, that bro.
is
Okay,
a
Yeah.
real fight. Man.
that is still a
not
real
influencer
fight.
boxing.
Yeah,
was a real fight.
you can say it happened because of influencer boxing, but yeah, okay. You know what? Boxing would be dead right now if it wasn't influencer boxing. Realistically,
Yeah, I'd agree.
do you know how many new
I
fans
don't
that
think
shit
so.
brought?
No,
Bro.
I'm
It
gonna,
wouldn't be dead. It would not be dead
Okay,
if it wasn't.
Okay,
for
but you know
not
what?
dead, but-
Mike, yeah, you know what? Mike.
It would- it
okay,
wouldn't-
well,
it wouldn't
fine. You know
grow
what?
as high,
Mike
but-
Tyson would have still had this fight. You know why? Because he's doing it for money. He's out of money right now. He needed to do that fight.
comparatively, why do people like a lot of people our age and younger than us?
Got that much hype.
No, but it will because what influencer boxing does, like
It's
you
still a
like
real
you said,
fight.
it takes people that you know and people that you watch already now fight, and then you watch them fight, and you're like, oh wait, you know, UFC is kind of cool to watch. Oh wait,
Yeah.
boxing is kind of cool to watch. Let me see how the professionals
Would it
do it,
really
and then
do
that
that?
brings
I'm
in
saying
people.
It definitely brought
But
growth.
you said it doesn't though.
I never said that. I said it wouldn't have been dead. I said.
Oh god,
Okay,
yeah, I'm sure.
that-
Yes,
obviously-
people would still watch it, man.
It's
I'm just
not-
saying
it
it.
would-
It
I'm
wouldn't
not
be
saying
anywhere
it
near as it is today.
100%.
Okay, yeah,
that's
we're on
it.
agreement.
All right.
Here's
yeah,
the thing
that's-
about
anybody.
okay,
yeah,
here's the
that's
thing
fine.
about influencer boxing though. It's the thing is not just like seeing people you know. It's the low barrier to entry. When you see real fighters, then you got to understand the fight tactics that are the
Yeah.
full. Because they're experienced, heavily experienced boxers or heavily experienced fighters, they go into it and the small adjustments they make are what really matter.
Yep.
You know, versus you go into influencer boxing, you see like Deji versus like KS
Or
or no,
not-
yeah,
that
Deji
doesn't happen.
Deji versus Jake
That would be
Paul
wild,
or
by
whatever,
the way.
something like that. All these kids see, oh, I've watched Deji for years, I watched Jake Paul
Yeah.
for years. Yes, they did train, and yes, they did eventually become like they increased their boxing abilities. But they came into that just because they were, oh, it's gonna be fun to watch these people
And also,
punch each
a
other.
lot of these influencers are way better at talking shit than some.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Which is what leads to
entertainment
that
at the end of the
boxing
day,
shit.
man.
Yeah.
Who would have thought all this would have started with fucking Theo Baker and Joe Weller just
Yeah,
fighting
Joe
in a
Weller
ball,
just, like,
in a backyard?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's so crazy, man.
The early days,
Deji and Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather because of Theo
Exactly.
Baker and Joe Weller fighting in a random.
the early
garage.
days of
Like, that's
influencer
so
boxing
crazy.
were wild. You started with that. You had Fuzi box too at one point, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was way after.
That was
It-
after?
it-
Oh,
it
no.
literally, this is like the timeline
No,
of it,
this-
right?
yeah.
The timeline was first it was Joe Weller versus Theo Baker, and like it was literally just on YouTube,
On YouTube,
just
yeah,
like
that-
someone
yeah.
filmed it, and KSI tweeted out like when that was happening, I'll fight the winner, and that was when he was still kind of like moved to the US for a little bit back in like
He got a
2016,
shove? Did
2017.
he still have his shove at that
No,
point?
by that point he was in good shape.
Okay.
That's when he started losing weight. That's the
Okay.
first time he lost weight.
Yeah.
He lost weight and came back to the UK to then fight Joe Weller. He won that. Then he called out the Pauls, thinking
Yeah.
he would fight Jake first and then Logan, because Logan was like the harder challenge. Jake ducked him, and then he fought Logan instead. They drew, and then they fought a rematch again.
But I thought he beat him the first time.
No, they
No,
drew
it
the
was
first
draw.
time.
It was draw.
Drew. It was a majority draw,
yeah.
and then they went on to fight the second time. KSI won that, and now it's just
And then
it's
they
just
ended up becoming
expanded
best
so
friends.
much.
That's what happened to the boxing space.
Yeah, it just exploded, man.
Yeah.
But okay, let's talk about who real quick. Just wrap it up. Who's gonna win
Oh,
this? This
Zuck.
is really easy. Zuckerberg has literally been training Brazilian
Yeah, this is
Jiu-Jitsu
not
for
years.
so long, and he's like, I'm not gonna act like he's some god, but like he's better than Elon.
It's
Musk.
easily Zuckerberg. Let's just move
Yeah.
on. Like, there's no point talking about it. Elon is not winning, man. It's so simple.
But how quick? How quick?
2 rounds.
2 rounds?
3
No,
rounds. 3
no.
rounds. I'll give him 3
I'll
rounds.
give him
Because
four.
I realistically, I don't
Say
think
two.
Zuck would try to end him that quick. I realistically,
It's for money.
there's such a good
Yeah.
chance this just goes the distance just for fun. Like
Yeah.
they'll just
Yeah.
do it.
You don't know
Also,
if he's
I
billionaires,
do
man.
think that even if they were like, even if he was rushing it a little bit, it wouldn't last just 2 rounds because
Yeah.
Musk is a larger guy, and I'm sure he's able to like hold off this. Yes, he will. Like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is going to dominate in the ring.
Yeah.
If you're or
Only
in the
reason-
octagon. Sorry.
If he takes
with-
him to the ground,
with-
yeah.
The
Yeah,
only reason,
then he's-
only reason I'm excited really is like this is the first time that like aside from influencer, this is like it's kind of its own thing. 'Cause it's
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
billionaires, like people you
It's-
see in suits or people you see in like running companies, actually going into more of like a Gen Z type
Yeah.
of.
No, it's
and-
no.
and,
It's like the reverse of what
Yeah.
The Rock did. You know, he went
Yeah,
from
yeah.
fighting to the
Yeah.
entertainment. He's going.
Yeah.
They're going from business to
Yeah, yeah,
boxing
yeah.
now.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be really interesting to watch nonetheless, just
Yeah.
for the fun of it. Not even.
I want to
for,
see
like, the
Zuck call out Bezos after that. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my
I want to see.
God.
I want to see that call
Oh.
out.
That would
Joe
actually
Rogan in the ring is like, Zuck, you did a great job out there, man. Who do you call out next? And he,
See, that's
The
the
Amazon
That's
king.
when I would be
Come on,
entertained. If
Bezos.
they start calling out other billionaires and this
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
a thing, that's when I get start getting entertained.
bro.
But this one fight, I don't know. I'm
Dude,
not too
Bezos
excited.
is solo.
You cannot tell me you're not gonna watch that, man.
No, I'm gonna watch it, but I'm not gonna say like I'm like so excited, like I can't wait to watch. Like it sounds so stupid, like too unathletic people.
Come on,
But that's so. Would you not pay? Why are we trying to encourage Prem and Arv to fight, man? That's like.
Are you calling them unathletic?
But they're not fucking pro boxers. They're not pro wrestlers.
It's
I'm,
fun to watch.
I'm not that athletic, bro.
It's fun to watch, and that's the end of the day.
No,
That's what
it's fun to
for.
watch because of.
They're
our
not
history.
professional athletes.
history.
Exactly.
That's the
It's
history.
the
It's the
history.
same
man.
idea here. They might
It's the
not have
backstory.
individual history, but they're both billionaires. They're both also known for like being weird figures. You know, Zuckerberg's like a lizard. Elon Musk is like a robot. Like they're both billionaires with these it's like crazy centric
I guess we'll
eyes.
find
that,
out.
like,
Maybe my
Rishi,
mind
I
will
agree with.
change.
I mean, I don't agree. I see what you're saying. There's two sides of boxing, right? There's like the new people who are like, oh, like it's good for boxing, which it is, like, you know, objectively, but like it's also the real hardcore boxing which are like now boxing is being taken away from its true core and its true fundamentals, and a lot of that, like we've all discussed in the past, has to do with the fact that boxing doesn't get the fights that they want, which
Yeah.
is why now
It's a huge problem.
Now they kind of need influencers to kind of grow, like Ari was saying. But there's still two sides of it. I feel like you're on the
It's-
ladder.
No, the only way this like the only reason I think hardcore boxing fans should have any issue with this stuff is only if people start saying that these people can like take on actual pro boxers. Like know your place, know it's something that's its own lane. That's
Well,
where it should stick.
A lot of people are acting like they are.
Well, because some of
which
them
is why-
some of them genuinely
can.
can.
Some of them
Because a
can.
lot of pro boxers are not.
Bryce Hall can, bro.
No, I mean
But
that's
Bryce
not
Hall-
You're
part of
picking
it.
the worst fucking person in
Paul-
the world.
I would
He's
say-
one of the one. No, that's what I'm saying.
Jake
Paul
Paul
is
is
legit. I agree with that. Bryce Hall is one of those people who is act like he's a true
Yeah, we're not
boxer.
talking
No,
about.
No, bro. But that's what
he
I'm
can
saying.
say whatever he wants. It's freaking Bryce Hall.
Wait. That's where you're wrong.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is
That was a
boxers
publicity
fans are pissed
stunt.
at people like him. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
but this is the thing. He even admitted it. It's a publicity stunt to generate people to watch his fight. That's it. He was just it's just
He can-
PR. That's it.
He can say whatever he wants. At the end of the day, there's some people who I never liked Jake
Yeah,
Paul as a
same.
person.
I've never
but
liked him.
I have to respect him.
You have
in
to
the
respect
ring.
him as a fighter.
Yeah,
and again, he's not an insane fighter compared to
Yeah,
other people. But
yeah.
if you choose a regular boxer with the same record as he has, he's most likely
Dominant.
had way harder opponents. And yes, I know
agree
they're
with that
MMA and not real boxers, but you know what? Boxers all pad their record at the beginning. You find me
100%.
someone who's suddenly if he fights like another like 5-0 pro boxer and just destroys them because there's some random journeyman, he can beat them.
This,
like,
at the end of the day, this fight fight is not boxing for boxing's skill's
It's not.
sake. It's boxing for boxing's entertainment sake. They are two separate sectors. They do overlap. You do see that with people like Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But this one is specifically
Right.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
this half.
People
of
have to understand know to separate it. You know, like this is not something new. It's not like fighting always has to be about skill. Look at gladiator times, man. People just threw in completely inexperienced people to fight against lions because why? It's entertainment for the rich people sitting up there.
Yeah.
Now the rich people are in the ring,
Which is even
We
funnier.
switch
and we
it.
get to watch
Yeah.
Exactly.
for $100.
Quality. Alright, bro. That's typical art. Speaking of another unicorn that has entered the sporting world, we have
What unicorn?
unicorn?
This morning, brother, we just-
it even just called Mark Zuckerberg a unicorn.
Jiu-Jitsu unicorn, bro. Alright, we have Victor
Oh
Wembanyama,
my god.
7'2" NBA player, the best prospect since LeBron James himself. What do you guys think of this? You think he's overrated? You think he's underrated?
Here-
Where do you think he fits?
He's a little skinny.
I think
man.
in NBA especially, and I know I am relatively new to like the full history of NBA, but I think that in NBA specifically, you have a lot of people who may be great prospects and turn out to be nothing, and then you'll have people who seem like they're nothing and turn out to be great. Honestly, even in the NFL, you'll have something similar in a lot of cases, especially with quarterbacks, right? Like Tom Brady was not a high pick. He ended up being one of the greatest quarterback, one of the greatest football players of all time. I don't mean to bring this up. I don't want to bring this up,
Why
but
did you say that?
in the same case,
greatest quarterback of all time.
yes, LeBron was prospected to be great, and he turned out to be great. But then you have people like Zion, who were prospected to be great,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
where is he now? You know, he literally is.
Oh,
not
we
on
know
the court.
exactly where he is now.
Literally not on the
We
court.
know exactly where he is
So
now.
I think for Wembanyama, yes, even with Zion,
Honestly, I think it's all about the cultural shift, right? Like they had such a long stint of being such a good dynasty, right? And then that all went to shit. The last 4 years, 4 years
No,
or
4 or
5
5
years,
years, yeah.
4 or 5 years. They've had their longest playoff drought in a long time. So when
You talking about Spurs?
The Spurs,
Spurs,
yeah,
yeah,
the Spurs,
okay.
yeah. So
He's kinda
Wembanyama,
destined, right?
huh?
He's kind of destined, right? To go to the Spurs.
Yeah, he's the big guy. You know, Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
David Robinson.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like it's bound to
I
happen.
do like him on the Spurs. It'll be
I'm
nice.
happy
It'll
that
be
he's
nice
on
to
the-
see like the Spurs actually have a shot at something again. Like,
You know, I have a conspiracy theory that low-key Pop would have retired if Wembanyama didn't go. He's like, I don't have a future with any other team, like any other player to develop. Like this might be his last like.
he's just like I don't like looking at him, man.
Pop.
No. Wembanyama. Wemby.
Like he's just like looks
time out,
unreal.
time out.
He's really
His
skinny,
name is Wembanyama.
Just call him Wemby.
He's
Wemby.
called
Wemby.
Wemby.
Wait, what?
Just Wemby.
You've been saying some other name. Bro.
Wemby.
So-
Just say Wemby.
Just say Wemby.
Wembanyama.
No, I've been
It's
saying
Wembanyama.
When Manana. When
I don't
Manana.
Wembanyama.
When
Is
Manana.
it MN or NM?
MN.
I think I've been saying NM.
You know, okay.
Wemby.
Wemby.
I'm glad you highlighted Wembanyama because I really want to know who you think were like.
Double M.
Yeah, he just
Yeah,
also
yeah,
said it differently
no,
too.
It's double M. He's right. He's
No,
right.
it's
Yo, what? No,
Wembanyama.
no, sure you, bro.
It's Wembanyama. Well, I'm glad you highlighted that because I want to know who you thought were the winners and losers of the draft. Because there were some obvious winners and losers of this draft. People who selected some really good players who would fit into their system, and some people, Orlando Magic, who did not select such nice players.
I mean, I don't really know that much. I just know the top.
I barely even
players,
watched
yeah.
the
I mean,
NBA
yeah,
draft.
going
Just
back-
doesn't interest me.
What I was saying
honestly.
before,
Yeah.
which I didn't finish, was that like I think yes, he's a very prospective player, but we don't know how it's gonna turn out. Like I think that's with every single player that goes into every single like sporting league. You just never know at the end of the day. Depends on how the team dynamics work.
Yeah, I think that like, okay, obviously there's gonna be inherent risk with everyone, but I feel like with him, there are certain number one picks. Again, like you said, have talent but don't do anything with like Zion. But the thing with Victor Wembanyama, everyone has said this, that which they didn't say about Zion. This guy has an emotional maturity that you haven't seen. He's been doing since first of all, he's already been in the pro league for 2 years in France, right? He has done his resume this way LeBron has when he entered his
Resume.
Well, I don't know what word that was meant to be. Was that meant to be regiment or resume? Like, well, okay.
He has a good resume too. Then.
He said resume.
resume.
The regiment.
There's an
LeBron.
N and then a T in there.
Good one. So, you know what, routine. So he has to say he's had a good routine for the last 2 years, including like a lot of things off the court that matter on the court, right? That people like Anthony Davis don't do, and stuff like that is what I think that like is gonna kind of take him to the next level. He also doesn't want to get bigger. He wants to.
No.
I saw a clip about that. They asked him.
that's
They asked
a
him in an
controversial
interview.
point.
They said, how do you think you're going to compare to these other NBA players who are obviously like more larger than you? He says, I don't want to get bigger. He said, why doesn't the rest of the NBA get smaller and get on my level? Why don't they get skinner? He's fine with where.
What is going on,
Man, focus, man.
There's an IE on
on,
there.
man.
All right. But he says he doesn't want to change his body type because I think this body type allows his elusiveness and allows him to play with the speed and the flexibility that he plays with. Because if he gets bigger, then he's going to get into that true center form, and maybe that affects his shooting or his ability to dribble, around the 3-point line. And
NBA players in general are not that big anymore. I don't think that there's that big of a problem with his current.
But there's a
structure.
difference in between Wembanyama's structure and the rest of the NBA as well.
Wait, who
I
do you think
guess,
is like huge player?
Giannis.
Okay, but that's again.
Those are
You're picking out like
Giannis is
look at
is who
a
he
lot
would
of the
be.
the main players now. They're not like big. You can't
You're
say.
talking about, like, rookies coming
You
in
can't
that
tell.
big.
Yeah,
But,
you can't tell me that
Giannis
they're not
was-
smaller
no,
than they
no,
are.
no,
even
No,
players who are
man.
currently in
Giannis
the
was
league are not-
skinny
not
coming into
massive,
the
Yeah.
league, bro.
Exactly.
Okay,
Giannis
Katie,
was skinny coming into the league.
Katie
That's
is the
one
biggest
example,
lank,
bro.
just a straight lank, like
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sitting
I
there,
agree
man.
with that,
And he's a great player.
Yeah.
And so Wemby
Wemby's just
realistically
KD
doesn't
just
need to.
stretched out,
Yeah.
basically.
But
That's
I'm
what I'm
saying, I
saying,
feel
yeah.
like
In general, people are skinnier than
Skinny
they
in
used
the
to be. You
league,
can't
yeah.
deny that.
Wait,
The
and, like,
average
I'm just
size
thinking-
of people now is less than it was in the past.
If you were to take the weights of NBA's players in the past versus now, I'm sure there's a downward.
I mean, there's
trend.
also because it was more of a physical game.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. The game changed.
game
Now
changed
it's
and
more
now
about
it's just
speed
skill.
than
Yeah.
physicality.
Speed
But so
now-
now
but
you're
now-
But
skinnier.
now, how big you are doesn't always relate to your strength now as well. 'Cause
Right, yeah.
There's
Which is probably
strength
why-
training
okay,
that's
no, I
not
agree. I'm just
also for
thinking-
building
yeah,
muscle
yeah,
because they
yeah.
can still build strength without having to put on a lot of muscle mass
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. No,
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
right.
You look at the top players
Yeah.
and they're still not massive.
Exactly.
People. There's very
You know,
few that are.
yeah.
Except for like,
Like
yeah,
LeBron-
except for
LeBron's
like
pretty big.
your
Yeah, but that's
LeBron,
different,
your
yeah.
Giannis, your
Yeah,
Jokic.
yeah,
You know, they're very
Also,
different.
another thing
They're
is,
very
like,
different.
Giannis did not have to be like that. There's only a few of those
Right.
players who actually work towards gaining that extra weight.
God, Giannis
Yeah.
is just in like perfect shape, man. Giannis is like,
He's so beautiful.
yeah.
He's so beautiful.
like Giannis
But
like that?
regardless, this new
You like
draft
that? You like-
class.
you want the Greek freak?
Yeah, man.
Oh my
You
god.
want
Like he
all
said,
that?
man. Freak in the game and in the sheets, man.
Regardless,
That was perfect.
I'm excited for the NBA's future. This draft brought in a lot of good prospects. There's a lot of teams who are now elevated because of the players that they drafted. Elevated because of the team they drafted. And I really want to highlight one team which I thought drafted well, and that was the Houston Rockets because
If you
they.
said the Celtics, I would have punched you in the face.
The Celtics now got Kristaps Porzingis, which I want to hang.
Why would you say that, bro?
sorry.
Why the hell would you say
No, no,
that?
no, wait, no, no.
You're Brady.
It's
We're
not
talking
that.
about that. We're not talking about that.
Well, it's not that. Wait, this is also important. They traded away Marcus Smart. Wait, this is. You guys think I'm saying it's you guys saying it's a bad thing, but this is something recent that happened. They traded for Kristaps Porzingis and traded away Marcus Smart, and I was gonna say that I'm not happy with the trade, even though we got a big man. Regardless, the Houston Rockets drafted. See, that's the thing. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. We're not laughing at you.
No, because the thing is, like, when I bring up stuff like that, even if it's something important, you guys like disregard everything I say.
No.
And-
That's not why.
It has nothing to do with Boston at all.
It has nothing to do with what you're even talking about. Just never mind.
All right, continue.
Go on. Continue.
Regardless,
Just continue.
Sorry, go ahead.
Continue.
the Rockets drafted Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore,
Ooh.
two top 10 prospects coming into the league, now top 5. You also have that with
I'm sorry, real quick. Is Emin Thompson the one who got the Xbox or didn't get the Xbox?
didn't get the Xbox. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
what?
Yeah,
No, there was a viral quote of him saying
it's
like
him and his brother.
him and
Yeah,
his brother got
yeah.
divorced or something.
Oh my
exactly,
God.
exactly. Yeah, but then that with like the inclusion of like Ime Udoka, the Houston Rockets are gonna make a big splash in the league next year, and I'm excited for them.
Think
But
so?
there was also, yeah, I'm always optimistic about that team. What, Jalen Green's on that team as well, so
Yeah.
they have a good starting 5. There's been a lot going on, and on top of that, I also want to highlight one more thing. What do you guys think of the Jordan Poole trade? Poole getting traded to, I forget what team.
Wizards.
Though he got traded to the Wizards, and then the Warriors ended up getting
CP3.
CP3. Exactly.
Terrible trade.
Sorry. Yeah.
Terrible
Yeah.
trade.
I mean, they invested what? They invested 130 million into Jordan Poole for like the future, right? Like him, Andrew Wiggins. They were supposed to be the future
Yeah.
of the Warriors after the top 3: Draymond, Clay, Clay, and Steph leave, right? And now all they did is they added, CP3, which is another point guard when they have Steph Curry. Like, what are your thoughts on that trade? I want to know.
All right, Jordan Poole. I just think it was a bad trade for both of them, bro. Cause like Jordan Poole, look, to the Wizards it's fine, but like what they got in return was CP3, right? I think for the Wizards, let me rephrase that. For the Wizards, it was awesome. They got Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
But that's still not a cornerstone piece. Giving up for essentially
for
Bradley
CP3.
Beal and Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, and a lot of draft picks too. Like,
dude, the Celtics gave up Marcus Smart. And they got Porzingis and 2 first-round picks out of it.
So now, guys, laugh. No, laugh. He's talking about the Celtics. Laugh.
No, but I'm talking.
No. Do you want to know what we were laughing at?
What?
It's because you said you wanted to highlight one thing. You said you wanted to highlight the Houston Rockets.
And
so
then
I just
he
typed
went
Houston
in and
Rockets and highlighted it. And then you said I want to highlight one more thing. So I typed one more thing and highlighted.
No, we laugh at you. Anything with Boston because you're such a homer with Boston that it's so funny sometimes. That's the only thing. But anyway, moving on. So the way Brad Stevens. You're crazy. The way Brad Stevens.
Crazy, man.
The way
Crazy.
Brad Stevens.
No.
The way Brad Stevens got so much for Marcus Smart was crazy, right? But Jordan's cool. But what did the Wizards do with like Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis? They didn't do anything, huh?
All right, just stop talking.
No,
Seriously, just stop
really,
talking.
No, they really
The
did.
adults are talking, man.
I'm
Please.
sorry, man.
They really did it. Like they were.
You talk. Adults talk. Come on.
Alright, bro. I guess it's just a podcast with me and you today.
This is
So-
what type of podcast is this, man?
So we were.
Regardless, here I'll tell you this: Kristaps
No, alright,
Porzingis,
but-
he brings a lot of firepower to the offense, being like one of our main big guys. Yet he's a little old, he's a little rusty. I don't think he's in his prime anymore. And as well, on top of that, Marcus Smart was one of our vocal leaders on our offense, and he came. He was there for us in a lot of tough moments, and he showed up for us. And so, how much do I like the trade? I don't really know. It's really just all banking on the fact that Porzingis is like a big playmaker for us. Because if other than that, I'd rather have Marcus Smart. Like I don't know how Kristaps Porzingis is gonna play.
It's based off of the fact that notice how they didn't trade for him last year because he was constantly injury prone.
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis this year he played really good. No one knew because he played for the Wizards.
Exactly.
Right? But he played really good. Problem I have is GM gave up Porzingis and Beal, and they got what, Poole in return, bro? That's nothing. They have to have hella baddies in the stands in order for Poole to play well. Because bro drops hella points.
But here's the thing. Batty showed up during the finals, but where was Poole, man?
Facts, man.
Not in the finals, in the
wasn't
playoffs. Sorry, during the playoffs.
There's Zendaya there at one game.
Yeah, Zendaya was there, and he dropped like 3 points that game, man.
Yeah,
Like I really just don't understand.
On the other hand, with CP3, bro, CP3 like does not fit the Warriors style at all. I understand the Clippers weren't giving up enough to get CP3, but they like CP3 was not at all like performing. Like, how's he gonna do well? The Warriors run on a fast style, and they're not. And CP3 slows them down. He's not as good as Poole on defense.
No, but here's the thing. He opens up a lot of plays with their main playmakers because of how good of a passer he is. He can really open up the playbook by just being that guy who's facilitating the ball through all the players. Because now if Steph Curry doesn't have to be like that surefire person who's facilitating the entire team, right? That leaves him open on a lot of plays, and that just allows him to focus on his shooting, you know? And that's what he's there for.
No, but Steph kind of thrives on that facilitation, right? And number two, he's also kind of like slow. He slows down what's meant to be a fast pace pick and roll, which is what CP3 likes a lot, right? Steph Curry will not doesn't really run that. It's just a bad fit for them, right? But it's up to you, man.
What do you mean it's up to me, man?
It's kind of an awkward situation.
It's an awkward situation? An awkward situation. But doesn't make my top 5, man. Because my top 5 today is going to be the top 5 most awkward situations. Okay?
Oh my God.
All right.
That was a good trade.
It
Bro,
doesn't
that
make
was
my-
so fucking planted, man. What do you mean?
Yeah, it was
I didn't
planted by
know.
him. It was planted by him.
You should not be knowing this.
Top 5. That's a good idea, though. I like this. Let's
All
hear it
right,
out.
my top 5 most awkward situations. Okay, I just want to give an honorable mention before I give my number 5. My honorable mention is when you're walking up the stairs and a girl's in front of you and you're looking, you're inspecting the wall, you're inspecting, how the architecture is in the room, really.
It's crazy how like cool the stairs are.
Exactly,
in those
right?
buildings,
How black the stairs are, how white the walls are. Like, you pay attention to those things, right? But for my number 5, right? The worst thing is that when you're talking to somebody and you forget their name, right? Especially when they just told you their name 5 minutes ago, and then you have to go up and ask, like, oh shit, man, what's your name again? And it's just so awkward. He's like, oh yeah, it's this, blah 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 blah. And you're just like, oh yeah, sorry, man.
Oh, you know what?
And then you forget again.
See, I've got the fix for this. My friend at school told me about this, right? He said he would do this to girls, right? He didn't actually use this, but he said this was the best idea. He was like, "Yeah, man,
Something crazy is about to come out of his mouth."
He's first of all talks like so laid back all the time. He's like, "Yeah, man. So like, if I just like need to talk to someone, I ask them their name. He's like, I forgot their name, man. And then, okay, so yeah, he just says like, if you pretty much ask someone, what's your name again, and then they say the name, and then they're like, oh, I meant your last name.
Oh wow, I'm so confused.
But I feel like that.
All right, whatever, bro. Just continue. That was so.
All right. So with my number 4, okay? Imagine you're sitting in class, you barely had any breakfast because you were rushing to school. I really want you guys to imagine. So close your eyes and think about that, that one school day that this happened to you guys. I'm sure it's happened to everybody, right? You're sitting there. Oh, Ari's doing something. Oh, he's writing something down. Okay. Anyways, he's writing something down. He's thinking about, oh, when's lunch? Oh man, lunch is at 1 o'clock. That's 4 hours from now. And you know what happens? Your stomach starts rumbling, and everybody hears it. And everybody hears it. Everybody hears your stomach rumbling, and you sit there and you put your hand over your stomach to try to compress the noise, right? Wait, do you not do I used to go like this.
The noise is out, man. What are you gonna
I'd be swinging my chair around after.
And I remember this was one of the worst things ever because one of my friends one time asked me, like, yo, bro, did you just fart? I'm like, no, bro, I'm just really hungry. He's like, yo, I swear you just farted, bro. Because it sounds like farting sounds.
You can't make the noise again.
You can't make the noise, but it's so awkward. It's just so awkward to sit there during class and your stomach's constantly rumbling. It's the worst.
That's why the chair strat is undefeated.
That's a good strat.
You slide your chair in as soon as you hear it or feel it coming. You there's like a second where you like tell yourself about it, like that sound. You feel that sound coming. Start scooting your chair in. Always a chair.
It's like the joke of like how when you're dating someone you don't want to fart in front of them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And in school it's easier.
Fair enough. All right. And for my number 3, all right, I'm gonna put you guys in more scenarios, situations, right? Close your eyes. Okay, just scenario time. All right. Imagine you're at a famous chili party, right? Hella people there, right? And you're like, oh man, I ate so much and I drank so much soda like crazy, and I gotta go to the bathroom, right? But you're living in a house with like some incompetent people, and you go into the bathroom and someone's taking a shit. The worst for my number 3 is when you walk in on someone using the bathroom. All right, one of the most. Oh, you guys can come out of the situation. Yeah. All right. Anyways, yeah. For number 3 is when you walk in on someone in the bathroom. All right, that is one of the most awkward situations.
And you gotta pay tribute to the big man. With the winner of the "Don't Go In There After Me" award, man. He won it for a reason, man.
All right. This is number 2. All right. This is for your horny bastards out there. All right. You're deep diving through a girl's social media, and you accidentally like one of her old posts. What do you do then? Do you unlike it? And then she confronts you? What? Oh yeah, for girls too. Yeah, for girls too. But it happens more. Actually,
no. I think it's
pretty often. Yeah, that's my number 2.
And I only do that on guys' posts.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
I've done that on guys' posts too before.
And my number 1. All right, and this is what I think is the most underrated, and a lot of people don't think about this as one of the most awkward situations ever, but this is like the worst. And it's a time when you're being celebrated, right? When people sing happy birthday to you, and you stand there. Usually I'll end up just being like, and I'll smile like this, and I'll just give a little nod.
Yeah.
But like, what do you say after? Like you'll do like a little like weird like awkward wave, and you'll just be like, oh, thanks guys, guys.
I'm ready. It's ready. It'll ready, dude.
Yeah, and Wait, I know your birthday. I know your birthday.
I'm ready.
I know your birthday. Ready? You want me to drop the date? July 27th, everyone. July 27th. July 27th. But the worst part is, not only when the happy birthday song stops, it's when Bara Bara the guy. Oh my god.
That's good.
And that's my
Yeah,
top
man, I
five.
hate when that comes up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so run us through your top five.
All right, number 5 is forgetting someone's name. Number 4 is your weird stomach noises. Number 3 is walking in on someone in the bathroom. Number 2 is liking an old post. And number 1 is standing there when people sing you the birthday song.
I gotta be honest, I don't think the bathroom one's that awkward. Because if you're the one walking in, you're not the vulnerable one. How often does that happen?
Because you have to knock before you go in the bathroom, regardless.
Yeah, but I would be more embarrassed if someone walked in on me. I'd be more embarrassed than if I walked in.
I forgot to lock the door.
Yeah, like,
I think that'd be
I'm not the one squatted over a toilet like vulnerable.
No,
he said
No, I
someone
said
you walk
walking
in
in
on
on
someone.
someone in the bathroom.
Nah, bro.
Yeah,
They can go both ways.
you chose your pick.
Hey, you. No,
Because
picture settles for now on. Start with your 5, you end with your 5.
you think about it, right? You think about it because you know if the light is on in the bathroom, right? And when the light is on, it's customary to knock
How
on the door.
often do you see people like shit with the lights on?
How often do you?
That's not what it is.
How often are you walking in on people in the bathroom, man? I've never walked in on someone in the bathroom.
I've done it once or twice.
Okay, I'll give you a situation yesterday, all right? Me and my friends,
Yes, that happened weekly.
last week, we were at someone's 50th birthday party, right? And we were at this restaurant, and then we went to we both had to pee, right? But the bathroom was so like disgusting, and the floor was so full of piss next to the urinal. What's it called? Like we went to the stall, right? But he said, I'm not touching the stall with my hands. The stall was also dirty as hell, right? So he stands there, stall door open, right? And he stands up, legs spread apart, and he starts peeing, right? And a guy, and like, I'm standing by the door. He's like, yo, stand guard, right? I'm standing by the door. And think about it, it's a really small bathroom. Some random guy opens the door, right? He opens the door and stands there and stares at both of us for 2 seconds. He's just watching my friend just pee. He literally's like, I'm sorry. Closes the door and walks out. He does not go. He has to go to the bathroom, but he chooses not to because of how awkward the situation was.
It's like different. It's a public bathroom with
friend,
multiple stalls.
That's one stall and one urinal. Urinal was open.
But I mean a public, like a open bathroom. It's not a single
Exactly,
use
but that should make more sense for him to just walk in and pee. But no, it was so awkward to walk in on someone, even in a public bathroom, that he'd walked out and did not pee because we were sitting right outside, basically the bathroom door. He did not come back for 2 hours to pee. He was so scared to pee, he did not come back. I'm telling you.
I would change your 2 and 1, which is not that big of a change.
Wait, what was 2 and what was 1 again?
Birthday song and liking an old post.
Yeah.
I don't really face the second. Your 2 of that often.
Third, I'd take out.
But two is more embarrassing.
I would say it's more embarrassing.
One's more
I just,
frequent,
I
but
don't-
2
I
is
don't-
more actually
I
embarrassing.
personally would not put it on my list.
Yeah, man.
I understand.
We
why
get
people-
it, man. You have a girlfriend.
3 what was 4 and 5 again?
4 and 5 was stomach noises and forgetting someone's name.
I don't think stomach noise is that bad.
It's so awkward.
Especially when you're younger.
In class,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
awkward.
5, forgetting someone's name that I'll keep the. I have 2 honorable mentions I'd like to say. Number 1, elevators.
Ooh.
Elevators are good.
Elevators-
Elevators
I
are
don't agree with that one.
Which I think should be actually number 1 on your list. When your parents walking on you jerking off.
What?
never happened to me.
What?
Why you bring it up? You were so passionate. It's like number 3, number 1.
Number 1.
How can I go to your
It
list?
was so awkward, man.
The amount of people I know who've had their parents, and they wish that they were not alive. They want to kill themselves.
I don't think anyone wants to kill themselves over that single
that
occurrence,
is-
but like
That's not even an
I think
honorable
that's
mention,
very
man.
embarrassing.
it's like quality is there, but the quantity is not there. Like they'll only like
I mean, if you're stupid,
Quality,
the
man, not
the quantity could be
quantity.
there.
yeah, like they'll have good games every once in a while, but like it's not a number 1 spot.
What the fuck?
It's a player, man.
I don't
That whole
know.
suggestion
That
was
was
just.
so-
kinda-
Yeah, I don't like the
I don't like the
That was
suggestion.
Why?
awful.
None of us like the suggestion.
I think
dude.
if you ask a lot of people, they would say that someone, your parents or your family member walking on you is super embarrassing.
Well, yeah, obviously it's embarrassing, but
I'm
it
gonna
doesn't
send this to your
happen.
mom.
How often is this
I'm gonna send
happening?
this
That
to
like,
your
I'm gonna
mom.
watch that, bro. Oh shit.
How often is this happening that like that has become this that it was so fresh on your mind that like you know what?
Typical. One of the most embarrassing.
See,
I know, but like I don't think it has. It's not been in the game long enough.
From,
you know?
from
maybe one day. Maybe
listen,
one day.
From a non-biased.
What? People have
What?
been Kiosk since the
Okay.
It's the dawn of men.
Listen, from a
Bro, where is this
subjective
Can
standpoint,
we please refocus our
Listen.
conversation?
wait, from a subjective standpoint, it is extremely
Yes,
awkward if that were to happen
definitely.
to a
Yeah.
person.
But it just doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't
It's the
happen.
same. It's the same argument as the toilet thing. It's kind of awkward, but
No. The toilet thing is just nowhere
it's
near
the same argument as a
awkward.
happy birthday thing, but in reverse. It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
quantity, but not as embarrassing.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
then you might as well take that.
Happy birthday is one of the most widely known, most embarrassing
It is embarrassing.
situations
It is embarrassing.
ever.
It's not embarrassing. It's awkward. That's what.
Awkward.
But that's a good point. I'm not embarrassed. I'm out.
No,
I'm
but
He
no,
did say his thing was
but my
awkward
thing is
situations.
awkward situations.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
it is,
okay.
But for the
Shut up!
I would be no.
Enough.
I'm not awkward if that happens.
no,
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah,
I'm not sitting there like, well, this is pretty awkward.
Well, where do we go from here?
No, man. I think your list overall had some good
Yeah.
individual ones.
It's a good list. It's a good list. The thing with this one is that it's very broad, so that you're not gonna think of
Think of
like
all of them,
you're not
yeah.
gonna immediately think like there's something else that needs to be here, you know. But that's what makes it fun. Also, you can try to
Talking
think of
over
like things
people in
over.
Zoom could be like.
Yeah.
Could be a
You know what? You know what's kind of awkward? It's like when you meet someone and you don't know how to greet them. Like they
Yeah.
go in and you don't know if
my
you don't know if
God.
they're dapping. You don't know if they're handshake. You don't know if they're dapping, reaching for a hug. They
You know
don't
what?
You don't know what they're doing. See. No, that's what I'm saying.
You know what? I'll change my top 5 just because I forgot
change.
that one.
No, you can't change
No,
it.
no, no.
That's mine.
If I were to change my top 5,
It's IP,
if
bro.
I were to change up my top 5, all right, I would include that as probably number 2. So I put birthday, and then I put that at number 2, liking old posts at number 3, and then I'd probably put forgetting someone's name at number 4, and then at number 5, what would I put at number 5?
Just put whatever your 4 was.
Stomach
So you bumped
noises.
up. You bumped up name.
Yeah.
I bumped up name
Really?
over walking in the bathroom.
I don't think walking in the bathroom should.
Yeah,
even
I
be
don't-
there.
that's
I
why
think
one
another
that-
awkward one that's kind of. I actually don't know if you guys will agree with me, but when you're holding up a line.
I was literally gonna say.
Holding up a line is super
Yeah.
awkward.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I have one more that I
It's
just
so
think
awkward.
of.
When you're
Like if
shopping,
like or if
something's
you're
going
at
wrong
the
at
airport, like
register,
security or some
airport.
shit, like
Okay.
shit's going on.
I have one, and I know me and Ari have talked about this because we've driven together all the time. But one of the most awkward situations, and it's not exactly an interpersonal connection, but it's kind of like it's like a mind to mind connection.
Yeah.
When let's just say you're driving, right? More situation mode, right?
Close your eyes.
And
Close your eyes.
and you're driving, right?
Close.
Right. And the person in front of you is going.
Remember,
Shut up!
Shauna, listen, I'm imagining.
All right, and the person in front of you is going 25 in a 50, right? And then you're right behind them. You're like, yo, you gotta hurry up, man, because you're about to road rage. And the guy behind you is like, he does a thing where he like swerves a little bit to the left to check who's slow, swerves a little bit to the right, and then. You know, you're like, you have to prove yourself, right? Because as soon as that person takes a
know what
left
you're
or a
saying
right,
now.
a left or a right turn, you have to prove to them that you were not the slow one. So as soon as they take a left or
you
right turn,
turned it on the side, yeah.
floor it.
Bro,
You floor the car.
every time me and Risha are in the car together, I literally bring this up because it happens so often. Every time I'm driving, I'm literally sitting behind someone going so slow. I'm like, oh man, this guy thinks I'm the slowpoke. I'm gonna show him. This guy turns. I'm like, yes, I just floored that shit.
I don't think
Here's
that's
like,
an awkward
here, I'll tell you.
I know, but it's
I'll
just
tell
it's
you a way
just-
to
it's
break
a good-
it.
I'm glad you remember that. I didn't even
Just
think
like
of
my
that.
chair,
but
just like
yeah.
my chair concept. Here's a way to break it. See, when they start going left and right, so
You
you're the
also
slow
go
one.
left and
No,
right.
you go the opposite direction. You see him turn left a little. You like pull to the right side of the
So
road
they
a
can
little.
see who the-
They see.
yeah.
then
If
they-
it's a big car behind me, I'm like, oh, thank God they can
Thank
see
God,
over.
they can see over.
They can see
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
And then when I'm driving my Sienna and it's a tiny ass like sedan in the back, I'm like, well, they're never seeing that.
Like no, but it's just like
Yeah.
mind to mind. Like I promise you, it's not me. But like I drive fast. But like
Yeah.
like trust me, I drive fast. Like I don't drive slow.
Here's another one. When you're on a, actually no, I wouldn't consider it awkward. I would just consider it annoying. The person behind you is being really annoying. When it's a no turn on red, and you're like, what? You know, you're following the rules once in a while,
Yeah.
and they start honking. I'm like, yo, look at that damn sign. That's a
Yeah.
no turn on red.
No, but like, it's
I'm
like
a law-abiding citizen.
it's in situations in those. I'm like, oh, do I just break the law just so I get out of this awkward situation?
Yeah,
They stop
that's true. That
honking
is
at
true.
me?
I've thought about
And
that.
be like, screw it, right? It's just who's gonna catch me, right?
Or if
It's
you
a
look
no-
away for a second, light turns green, you get a little. They
Oh.
start
What's an awkward
honking.
moment
For sure.
in elementary school when your teacher used to
there we
take
go.
you out into the hallway, like call you out in the middle of the room.
That's
like,
a good one.
"Oh,
Yeah.
I
That's a
need
good
you to
one.
come out."
That's just the thing of the
Typically, you know it's
time.
not for a good reason. Like, it's
Yeah,
for a bad reason.
that's just because of the time, I think.
Yeah.
Because like kids are like, gonna make a big deal about it. Like,
yeah.
If you're older, if that happens, no one really.
You know
cares
what? You know what?
much,
That
right?
happened to me one time, and my entire class went ooh.
It happens all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time.
Ooh is
When
like,
you're older and that
true.
happens, it's just clearly a joke. Like everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what's that?"
You guys remember Miss? Any of you guys have Miss Markwell? You guys didn't have Miss Markwell?
I didn't have her, but I
I
know
had
her.
her.
Miss Markwell pulled me out
She pulled me out too.
of ELA class one time because so basically what happened, and this is really stupid. It was an ELA class, and I was doing my Algebra 1 homework in ELA class. You know,
man.
I was just being like studious, right? And my own
Cross-examination?
and my
Huh?
own and my own and my own helper teacher ratted me out. She walked outside because Miss Markwell was outside in the hall grading papers. She saw me doing algebra homework after I finished all my ELA work. I'm like, might as well just start my algebra homework, right? Like, what's wrong with that? I'm just getting ahead. She called Miss Markwell, told her that I was doing algebra homework in class. Miss Markwell came into class, called me out. Everyone said ooh, and then she gave me a 0 on the homework for doing homework
That
during
was
school
that.
hours, right? And
I
then
never understood that.
yeah,
I
and
never
then
got
and then the
that.
teacher ratted me out. Came back to me. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I told her. I didn't know she would react like that." I'm like, "Why are you telling her that in the first place? Like, why is it
the
such a
student
big
teacher
deal?"
the op, man? Why is she getting
Dude,
involved?
I was so mad. She
Student teachers are
really,
normally so nice.
Try and kiss up to get the job.
Miss J, if you're watching this, you ratted me out, bro.
Oh, no.
Oh my
What if it's my
God.
mom, man? What if she's
It's not Miss Johnny, bro.
It's not Miss
Yeah, that is a pretty like stupid situation. If
Yeah.
when it happens.
That was.
It never made sense to me why you can't just do homework. Like,
Bro, when
if I'm
people,
done-
people,
Be efficient,
yeah,
bro.
people were getting in
exactly.
trouble for doing it at lunch. What other work are you doing at lunch that
For
you're getting in
real.
trouble? When we were like at lunch in 8th grade, a teacher literally came up and said, which teacher's homework are you doing right now?" to some kid on my table, and he got in trouble for it.
Oh yeah, the one concept I have where that makes sense is like, oh, you have the class the next block and you're doing your homework, like, but still
Even
they're doing
then,
it.
it's
They're
still
doing
before.
it.
It's still before the things
class
due.
exactly.
That's your
They're still doing
Well,
it.
because it's homework. Like, shut up,
Bullshit,
man. Like,
man.
shut up.
That's so
Shut
hard
up.
That's what I'm saying. They enforce the dumbest shit like in school
Exactly.
sometimes. Like I get it. Like a lot of the times they're trying to enforce like good habits for later, man. But like no one gives a fuck later about these things.
If
Exactly.
honestly later
You get
it
your
just
work done,
it just
you
gets
get it done.
worse. Like I end up doing most things.
If anything,
last
you
minute,
should
yeah.
be promoting that kind of. As long as you're not interfering with your work that you're meant to be doing at that time.
Exactly.
If you're done, you should be encouraged to do other shit.
Yeah,
You're being efficient.
with your
Exactly,
time. Yeah, exactly.
Because if you have time now, why not just do stuff that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
so that
Well,
when
that's
you're
the
at
problem.
home,
The
have
school is set up to build robots and just send you
break
off.
the system, man.
Let's-
Break
let-
the
the-
system.
Matrix.
they're set up
It's
to
the
just be
Matrix.
employees. Yeah, just keep
All
going.
right. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think of my list because I know we came up with a lot of
Rates.
alternatives that there could be as well, and it's a little bit of a vague list. But I want to know what you guys thought of this.
My
list.
rating would be honestly. Here's the thing, it's a good concept, and I would rate your list well. But I know for a fact there's so many good other awkward situations.
That we just can't.
That we
think
just
of right
can't think
now,
of.
Yeah.
But these are the staple awkward situations.
Dude,
that you
there's
have to
so
think
many
of.
that we just don't think of.
There
off the
are
top
so
of our
many.
head.
There's billions of awkward situations that you can get in.
That would be
but
even higher, I think, honestly.
like what?
When you walk into someone in the hall and you're left, right.
That's not that
That's-
awkward. It's kind of funny to be
They're
honest.
like
yeah.
they're awkward in like the really like small moment, you know.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like if that would happen, I just
But so is
Euro-step them
so
and
is your
away.
stomach
Yeah.
making a sound.
No, see,
30
stomach making
Oh,
a sound.
no.
I don't even consider awkward.
30
because
seconds
that
later,
is
when
only awkward.
No,
at,
I felt so awkward.
See, no, but that's
when
the to me.
happened
Maybe that's just me. I would only
Yeah.
feel awkward about that. Like if I'm younger. Like now, I just don't give a fuck about something like that. Like if
No.
like what's someone gonna realistically say to me? Like
Yeah.
about that.
Bro, in a
Like,
meeting, in a
if
meeting-
a 19-year-old
Or
starts
in a
like,
meeting,
did
if
you
a stomach-
fart
if your
in the middle?
stomach hurts,
Like
if your stomach's like bellowing in a meeting, that's kind of awkward.
I guess yeah, in a
Right?
meeting.
Like it's
yeah.
all context. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
it depends on the
but
situation,
One
yeah.
other thing that I would say is like, you're not like the zigzag in the hall, but someone you know or someone you don't like, and you're the only two in the hallway, and you're gonna pretend like you don't know each other.
Or
and
when you
just
see
walk-
someone that
No,
you
honestly, I just don't pay attention. Like it's not that. It's so simple. Like it's not that awkward.
I don't really have this one because I never really got them, but I guess voice cracks is pretty awkward for some people. Like if you're like really,
That's
I don't really get voice cracks.
not even like 6.
Not really, no.
Dude, my voice cracks are in like early high school. I'm not gonna lie.
I never really got
Mine
voice
were-
I
cracks.
still get
Crazy.
voice cracks.
Mine weren't insane.
I sometimes like.
Yeah, I still get them.
No, but like if people are like just having, if it's like dead silent and then you just say like or something, if you have like a really like spontaneous like dead silence or you just see someone in the
And then you
hall
talk,
and he's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Once
oh,
again,
shit.
those are situations where like it's
feel like
more
you're nitpicking.
funny than
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
awkward. You know.
Nish,
Yeah.
what's your rating? Like
Out of 10, I'll give it. There's a couple in there which I like personally don't think should deserve to be there. I'll give it a 7.
It's like a
7.
I agree with
I'll
that.
take
I'll give it a 7. I honestly think that your honorable mention should be in the top 5. I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty awkward situation that
Yeah.
does kind of happen.
It is
a lot.
very awkward.
Even though it realistically shouldn't be, like it's not like it's because
it's
you-
respectful.
But the thing is, it's not really, because now you're actively trying. Like, you can't just walk up the stairs normally. It's not like you're trying to look at them.
That's
like,
that's a whole nother topic. With
like then if I'm looking down,
how
for
society
me,
has made it wrong.
First of all,
for us to, like,
even if no one's in front of me, I most of the time just look down when I'm going up the stairs.
Yeah.
But now I'm so self-conscious, and I'm like, do people think I'm now just looking down so I don't look like you can't escape the awkwardness.
Here's the thing.
Even if you're looking down, it's awkward. If you're looking up, it's awkward. You can't look anywhere without
it's
being
so
awkward.
rooted into our brain because, like, let's just
Bro,
say,
whip
like,
out the phone. Whip out the phone.
Oh, dude.
the weather
Yo,
app.
I gotta check the calculator, man.
All right, I would give it honestly. I'd give it an 8.
Let's go.
I'm gonna break the
I'll
because
take
we've
an
had
8.
7s for most of all the lists. I'm gonna give it an 8 because I do agree with Ari. Like some of the honorable mentions that like Ari proposed or I proposed should have been in the list, but the ones you said were staples. There was one that I would have taken out completely. The others were like minor reorderings, but like besides that, they were pretty much staples that you kind of have their typical like or awkward moments. But it's also the fact that like, bro, like there were some of those I wouldn't have even thought of myself. So like I still give it an 8. I still give you credit for it.
You don't think of it until you get into that situation.
Probably. Yeah.
I know definitely if we're wishing you a happy birthday, you're like each guy's just gonna be so awkward. Like you just stand there. Like, thanks guys.
Yeah.
I do understand.
It's an awkward one, but it's not like, oh my god, that's actually like so awkward. It's just kind of like in the moment, like, oh, it's kind of awkward. Like, but the thing is, that's one where everyone understands and everyone just kind of makes a joke about like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like
everyone understands,
that
you know.
situation,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the list.
That was a good one.
was
I like
good.
that one. I like that one.
Topic.
That was a good one.
Regardless, thank you guys for watching. This has been such a fun episode to film. Make sure to keep on liking, subscribing, and watching all of our content on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And thank you guys for helping us reach 200 subscribers. We just reached 200 subscribers.
And guys, hit the TikTok, man. At Famous Truly Pod. We're about to hit 1,000. Almost there, man. We're 50 away. Get us to 1,000, man.
Please do.
Please.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.